All right, guys, I'm in the car. I just dropped Leland off at jiu-jitsu. And so I just want to unload video number 1, Heart for Rehearsals. This is the scripture that I read my teams often. It's from Matthew 6:1. You've probably heard it before. And it says, beware of practicing your righteousness. Let me pull it up so I don't misquote it. Be careful not to practice your righteousness in front of others to be seen by them. If you do, you will have no reward from your Father who is in heaven. So Jesus goes on to talk about prayer and fasting, because those would be the two big performance spirituality things in their day. For us, you know what it is? It's worship music. Man, the number of times I've been at a rehearsal and saw somebody just bored to tears singing about Jesus, only to be in tears singing about Jesus when 200 people, 300, 400, 500 people are in the room. It's too often. It's entirely too often. And so when I think about rehearsals, I am thinking about how do I run my rehearsals in such a way that when my team is standing on that stage, that they are leading with spiritual integrity and authority, and in such a way that the Father wants to reward how we got to that place. Does that make sense? So that's the unique opportunity in rehearsal. Everybody at rehearsal is trying to put the music together. I get it. Yes, everybody should learn their stuff before they get to rehearsal. We'll talk about the logistics and all that in another video. This is the heart of rehearsal. What's the point? So I want to say two things, and both of them contribute to digging a well in your team that you can draw from when you go to lead, and just building spiritual integrity with the Lord. So there are two things. One is intimacy with the Lord at rehearsals, and the second thing is intimacy with one another in relationship to how we treat one another. So one, intimacy with the Lord at rehearsals. I don't know if you've ever seen multi-tiered waterfalls where the water goes into one pool, it overflows, it goes into a second pool, it overflows, and finally it goes into an even bigger final pool. This is how I tell my teams that rehearsal works. We're the middle pool, okay, our team. The top pool should be your personal worship, your time with the Lord, time that you're worshiping Him, that you're giving your songs to Him, that you're worshiping and remembering truth at home, using your musical gifts, crafting your skills. That should overflow, the skills and the intimacy with God, into that second tier. And our worship teams, listen to me, our worship teams should be worshiping teams. So when you gather together, that preparation should be directed toward the Lord as worship. And you know it when that's not happening, right? When the focus is on drama, or we're just nitpicking musical things. I have sensed such sweetness from the Lord in rehearsals. I would actually even say that a lot of times your rehearsals should be more intimate than even the Sunday gathering. Kind of intimacy with the Lord should go up as we get more and more private. But oftentimes it's the other way around. It seems the Lord shows up more and more the more public it is. And so here's what I would encourage you to do if you are a part of a worship team. Direct your heart to Him in worship. If you can't control how things are going, you can control the posture of your heart and the intent of what you're doing. And so take that worship seriously. If you're leading a worship team, I would say frame the night in this way for your team, that they understand that God is present in our midst right now. Because if you can find private victory in that room, wherever you're rehearsing, when there's no one in there but your team, when you go, God, you're present. Because listen to me, you will confuse the presence of God with the presence of a few hundred people, because to broken hearts, they often can seem the same. So spend time cultivating awareness of His presence and worship when nobody's in the room. Okay, so that's one huge opportunity. The second is how you treat your team and how you treat one another. How we do what we do is more important than even what we're doing. Okay, so rehearsal isn't just the opportunity to use and instruct and direct your team so that you can get a good product out of them so that Sunday goes well. This machine is happening all over the country where We want that good product from churches of 50 people to churches of 5,000. Rehearsal is not the time to just bulldoze your people to get from them what you want so that Sunday goes well. Love your team. I'll talk about practically how to do that in another video. Listen to me. If you avoid practicing your righteousness before others, but instead worship God, love people in your rehearsals, and your worship team becomes a worshiping team, I promise you the overflow of what your team is doing and leading will change exponentially. And so that, at least from my experience in 15 years, is the heart and the intent of a good rehearsal.